All right, Belay. So it's been 24 hours and 13 minutes since the government shut down on Wednesday at midnight. Right now, Democrats are trying to manage how they are going to go through this whole process and what they're trying to negotiate with the Trump administration on their demands to get the government back in tip-top shape. But obviously, Democrats want to get something out of their votes. What do you think Democrats should be aiming for with their votes and in these negotiations, and how do you think they're doing so far?
Yeah, so far I think what they're fighting for is the correct thing to fight for, right? We want to make sure that more people have healthcare, not less. So the specific thing that they're really trying to get out of the budget negotiations is to expand the Obamacare subsidy. So basically, about 20 million people are affected by this. The subsidies lower their healthcare premiums that Americans pay every single month. So by not expanding them, they're set to expire by the end of this year. A lot of people are going to see a 400, 500, even at some people are going to see $1,000 increase in their monthly premiums. That's just batshit crazy. I mean, we live in a country where most Americans can't even afford a $600 emergency, right? So I know that the senator from Georgia, Raphael Warnock, said that one of his constituents actually sent the plan that the health insurance was trying to sell them for next year. Currently, they're paying around $300 a month for the premium. It would go up to $900. That is insane. So they're fighting to expand those subsidies. And I think in terms of messaging, a lot of Democrats are not meeting the moment, but someone that is, and we shouldn't be surprised by this, is AOC. I do want to show this clip to our viewers. She was on MSNBC last night, absolutely killed it. Roll it.
This is not a fight over tax credits. This is a fight over your ability to go to a pharmacy and afford your insulin. We're not talking about just 15 or 20% increases in people's premiums. Tomorrow, healthcare companies and today, healthcare companies are finalizing the premiums that everyday Americans are going to be paying. And we are talking about a doubling of monthly healthcare premiums, not even including your deductible, in terms of what people are going to be paying next year because of $1 trillion in Medicaid cuts that were put together earlier this year. This is not a fight.
I think she perfectly captures what is happening, and she does it in a way that most people can understand. So if I'm the Democrats, do everything you can, hold strong. I know it's really tough. People, not a lot of people win during government shutdown. There's a lot of workers, like TSA workers, who have to continue working and will not get paid during the duration. They will get back pay once we hopefully one day, solve the negotiations about the budget. But I think it's a deeper cause in this. So people want to blame Democrats for this, but when you are the minority, you negotiate with the majority, right? Like President Biden negotiated with Republicans to get a budget through. Obama negotiated famously with Republicans to get his budget through every single year. Republicans have the House, right? But they need 60 votes in the Senate. They have 53 votes currently. So just refusing to negotiate with Democrats and saying, hey, let's just pass the budget now, let's pass this continuing resolution, which funds the government for another month or so, and then we'll revisit, Obamacare premiums. That makes no sense for Democrats to take because, first of all, you're going to believe the Republicans. They're going to come revisit an issue that will help people with their health insurance. That's just total BS. This is the only little bit of leverage that Democrats currently have. Use this shit for good. And I think that, actually Democrats are helping Republicans and Trump because if Americans just see their healthcare premiums all of a sudden quadruple, they're gonna blame the president and the party in power. So I just don't understand why Republicans don't want to do this. They already spent about $4.5 trillion with their big beautiful scam shit. The Obamacare subsidies are really important to about 20 million people. And if you think you won't be affected, I mean, shit, if their premiums go up, other health insurance companies can jack up their prices. So I think that they're doing the right thing here. I'm just worried about Republicans not willing to negotiate. I don't see anything from the White House substantively, so I don't know how long this government shutdown is going to run for.
Yeah, and I think it is incredibly politically smart for the Democrats to be using this moment that they have right now. If they didn't use it, who knows when the next opportunity would come. I think there is an argument to say that we don't want this shutdown to go forever because Trump could consolidate even more power in the executive branch, justify cutting funding for different executive agencies that are part of the shutdown and maybe never funding them ever again. Hopefully that is not the case. Hopefully there's a negotiation that is quick and people are able to get back to work. But Democrats have to do what they can right now with the opportunities that they have. Another interesting thing that I saw was an interview that of Chuck Schumer, basically asking him why they were going after healthcare at when it was not even close to the top issue for most Americans. I think 6% of Americans in the New York Times poll, if I remember the company correctly, said that healthcare was their top issue. And obviously, affordability was by far the highest issue. And Chuck Schumer's answer on this was very interesting. And one of the only times that I think Chuck Schumer has been politically
Interesting and Chuck
savvy.
Schumer do not go well together, but
Yeah, well, okay, he had a moment. We have to give it to him, but he basically said that healthcare is part of the affordability issue. You have to connect the issue of
yeah,
affordability and healthcare premiums going up by maybe 2, 3 times in the next coming weeks and months. And by negotiating for this, not only are they negotiating for the people whose healthcare costs are going up, they're negotiating for everybody who has healthcare, which is the
yeah.
majority of Americans, and keeping that cost down so more people can keep more money in their pockets, save it for a rainy day when most people are living paycheck to paycheck in this country, the classic Bernie line. I think it is important to make sure that healthcare as part of the affordability issue is kept down and you can work on other issues once Democrats are in power again.
100%. And I want to circle back to AOC, show this other clip of her basically responding to Republicans who are saying that it's actually AOC causing this shutdown because Chuck Schumer is afraid of a primary from her, which he may be afraid of a primary from her, but it's clearly not AOC who's causing this shutdown.
And I saw some Republican members of Congress saying, oh, well, if we have this shutdown, it's because of AOC. Well, if that's the case, my office is open and you are free to walk in and negotiate with me directly. Because what I'm not going to do is tolerate 4 million uninsured Americans because Donald Trump decided one day that he wants to just make sure that kids are dying because they don't have access to insurance. That's what's not going to happen. And so if those senators think that we're having a shutdown because of me, they're free to enter my office and negotiate, because what we're not going to do is allow all of millions of people in this country to not be able to afford their insulin and their chemotherapy. So come strike a deal with me if that's what they really think is going on.
That's just like she nailed it. I mean, she literally nailed what's at stake here, and I think Democrats are finally rising to the occasion. A lot of Democratic voters are rightfully so tired of leadership. They don't think they have strong leadership, so it's really nice to see people like AOC out there. I know that Elizabeth Warren she also did a live stream, and they're fighting the right fight. And I think eventually, if Democrats hold strong and really push this message out there that, hey, we are here trying to save your health insurance, we are here making sure that your health insurance is not quadruple in price, the American people will side with them. And my hope is that that pressure will eventually get to the White House, get to congressional Republicans, and a deal will be made to make sure that health insurance for over 20 million people does not suddenly just rise an insane amount. Where, again, people may decide not to even have health insurance anymore if they see it go up from $300 to $1,000. That is a real calculation that a lot of Americans will be making. And I don't know what's going to happen. I do have some hope because I think healthcare is an issue, like you said, that does tie into affordability, and it matters. It matters for every single day people. It matters for everyone in this country to have affordable health insurance. So that's my optimism take on this. But so far, we're not seeing any sign from the White House. We're not seeing any sign. Also, like the vice president, JD Vance, has been all over the airwaves saying that this is about trans surgeries in Peru, or this is about undocumented immigrants receiving Medicaid. This is clearly not what that's about. It's about the Obamacare subsidies, about making sure that American citizens, most of them are American citizens who have health insurance, who do not want to see their health care all of a sudden go up when they're already dealing with the high cost of rent, the high cost of groceries, just the high cost of living now in the United States.
Yeah, 100%. And 20 million plus Americans have their healthcare at risk. And it is also important to reemphasize that 7 Democrats are needed in the Senate to pass this budget bill. So there's a lot of leverage and a lot of moving room for the Democrats to negotiate here. It is on the Trump administration to come to the negotiating table and say something about this, and come to some sort of deal. My hope is that they don't compromise on the ask for healthcare too much. But obviously, any win is better than no win here. and curtailing the Trump administration and these sort of powers is super important. So, we'll keep an eye on it, and hopefully the Democrats come out with some sort of victory for people and for healthcare coverage and things like that. But we'll keep an eye on it and keep all of you informed in the audience.